How many of you are reading all the books, reading all the blogs, and consuming all the YouTube videos that you possibly can around how you can be impactful in your role, and yet still you're not necessarily feeling comfortable or where you want to be? Well, if that's you, then I want you to know that this video is for you, because I'm sharing with you a strategy that really helped me when I was in your shoes, in hopes that it will make a difference for you. Okay, so let's get into this. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new around here, well, my name is Mac, and I'm a leadership coach, but I actually work specifically with first-time introverted managers and helping them to become effective leaders. So like I mentioned on the onset of this video, what I want to do is talk about the strategy that really helped me turn the ship around when things were not going that well when I first jumped into management. So one of the things that I came to realize after making a lot of mistakes and kind of falling flat on my face, to be quite honest, is that the theoretical knowledge did not work for me. And that's not for lack of trying, okay? Because I was in chapters week after week, and I just realized I said chapters. I'm Canadian, and so let me think. Chapters would be kind of like the equivalent of Barnes and Nobles in the States, okay? And so I used to be in there every single week, buying all the books. Like I would go straight to the leadership section or the management section, and I would pull down all the books and take them home and stay up late at night and highlight all the things. And like I had the creases in the books and all the notes. Like I was a pretty avid student, right? I tried to be. And yet I was not making much improvement, right? I mean, I would get incredibly inspired. I would be, oh my goodness, I would be so inspired by what I read. I would be like, oh, that would be so great. I feel inspired. I feel strong. And then I would go to work and try and apply these things. And I'd be like, this ain't working for me. Like, first of all, it's not going to work because that doesn't align with my personality. I mean, maybe for this guy, he can say this, but for me, that's not really necessary. That doesn't align with my personality. Or sometimes, I would be super inspired about the team dynamic culture that the person talked about in their book. And I would try and implement these things, and then it wouldn't work. It would fall flat because, again, it didn't really align with the season that I was in with my team, right? I would look at it and be like, well, this sounds great, but the person over there on my team doesn't even think that I should be in this role. And so it just doesn't make sense for me, right? And so I often found myself stuck. But what did work for me, when things really started to take a turn, is when I started to interact with two incredible mentors. And I know I mentioned them in last week's video, but man, these two incredible mentors made a world of a difference in my life, or they made a difference in my life. And for that, I am forever grateful to the both of them, And they weren't teachers of leadership or anything like that. They didn't have a BA in management, although there's nothing wrong with that. It's just they weren't, right? These two mentors of mine, they didn't necessarily have that credential, but what they did have was real life experience, right? Real life experience on the ground of having led two really large teams. These guys were freaking awesome in their heyday. And I was able to leverage that. I was able to leverage their experience, which really accelerated my growth. And, again, I am forever grateful to them because they really changed the trajectory of my life based on the fact that they were so patient and so kind with me. They used to set aside time with me every week just to talk about, different scenarios, some of the different struggles that I was having. They would reason through solutions with me. They would chair fly scenarios with me. And best of all, they shared their stories with me. And I say best of all because stories really stick. I don't know what it is about us as humans, but we love stories. Isn't that why Marvel does so well? It's because they're incredible story tellers, right? And so when my mentor shared with me their experiences, I was always able to remember those stories, and then I would pull the lessons from them whenever I was in a scenario or in a situation that kind of mirrored in similar ways. And I found it just incredibly helpful. The other thing that the interactions with them helped me with is to fail quickly. Obviously we're imperfect humans, and so we're going to fail, we're going to mess up. But let me tell you, when I failed, I got up really quick. And the reason why I was able to get up as quick as I did was because I had them right there, right? Instead of sitting and stewing by my desk, freaking out about the mistake that I made, I would just go to them and be like, hey, like, this is the situation. What do you think I should do next? And they would say, okay, so based on my experience, having been here before, this is how I handled it. So let's see what we can do to make it work for you, right? And so I would always be able to get up really quickly because I had support systems that knew exactly where I needed to go next. And so I developed this kind of next play mentality in my leadership, which was really, really cool, right? Instead of, like I said, sitting there stewing like I used to. Because let me tell you, when I first started, all I did was reprimand myself basically for the stupid mistakes that I made. But when I, was in their sphere, I came to realize, like, you're always going to make mistakes. It's about what you do next, right? So like I said, I developed this like next play mentality, and I kept going. I just got up really quick. And so I truly believe, based on my experience with them, I believe that that is the type of support system that managers need, right? I don't think that managers need another isolated article or another isolated YouTube video that lacks continuity, right? I believe what's actually needed is real life experience, support through real life experience. Someone the other day on a call with me said, Mac, I booked this call with you because honestly, you don't really talk about the accelerator program that much. And so I'm calling to learn a little bit more. And I was like, really? I feel like I talk about it all the time, but she was right. Like, I don't think I talk enough about the nuances of the program. I kind of just mentioned like, hey, I have this new manager accelerator program. So let me take a quick second to talk about what the accelerator is about. Now, if you've been with me for any amount of time, you already know that the new manager accelerator program is for new managers or anyone that has never received training in their role in order to be effective and impactful. Now, what makes the approach so different is the fact that it's built on an intentional, comprehensive methodology, not just a bunch of how-tos strung together, right? Because I don't believe that you need a bunch of how-tos, right? That's not going to help your situation at all. Otherwise, YouTube would have helped you already. You don't need how-tos. What you need is the mental models that will help you or that will equip you to get through the challenges that you're facing. I'm going to say that again. You don't need how-tos. You need the mental models necessary that will help you get through the current challenges that you're facing. Now, the framework that the accelerator program was built on is malleable, right? It's adaptable to the different styles out there because, I use the exact same framework in organizations when I train their managers. And so, of course, when I'm going into an organization, I don't necessarily know the different personality styles that I'm going to be training with. But what I do know is that each and every one of them needs to be trained. And so what I've done is I've created this framework that is malleable. Like I said, it adapts to the different styles, but it especially works for us introverts, right? Who typically feel like the leadership trainings out there just don't work because we think that we can't be effective leaders due to our perceived shyness, quietness, and kind of conflict averse nature, right? And so because I'm an introvert myself, the framework is meant to be malleable to an introvert as well. Now, the other thing that's important to note about the accelerator program is that it's based on your current challenges. Because a large part of the program is me being right there in the trenches with you, acting as a mentor, as a coach, as a guide, I'm able to help you with the current situation that you're dealing with, right? I mean, that's the whole point. You want to get through to the other side right now. So that's why I'm in there with you, guiding you through it, just like my mentors did for me. And the best part of the program is that this kind of cohort format with other managers lends to just deeper growth, right? And that's because of the fact that there's a wide variety of managers within the cohort, right? Like, we've got attorneys, we've got people in tech, we've got people in healthcare, we've got CEOs and founders in there, we've got people in retail, we've got a wide variety of industries within the New Manager Accelerator program. And what this lends to is diversity of thought. And when we have diversity of thought, it allows for an incubation of some really, really cool thoughts and implementation, right? Because you've got people from varying backgrounds and varying industries talking about their experience and how they've been able to come through on the other side. And so I love listening in. Like, of course, I'm there every week to support you, but I love listening into, the more experienced ones in the group. And I love hearing them guide the newer ones in the group based on their experience and the things that they've picked up in the program. It is beautiful. It is honestly a beautiful thing to watch. I don't often talk about my beliefs on the channel, but I am actually an avid student of the Bible. And one of the things that my mom used to always say to me growing up was, Mac, watch your associations. Never forget that bad associations spoil useful habits, right? 1 Corinthians 15:33. And it's such wise advice, especially for someone coming up. I mean, it's wise for everybody, but especially as a teenager, right? Because you typically gravitate to the people that you shouldn't be around. And so it was wise advice, right? Because obviously when you hang out with people that are no bueno for you, obviously that's going to affect your thoughts, your behaviors, your actions. But the same is true on the opposite, right? When you hang out with people who you want to be like, who think like you, who are already where you want to be, then it can only elevate you. It can only elevate you because you've embedded yourself with people who are ahead of you, right? It can only elevate you, your thinking, your behaviors, your actions, and the results that you get. The truth is, from my own experience, from all the books and the blogs that I read, I can definitely tell you that my approach is a far better way to becoming a dynamic and effective leader. I promise you that. And I know you're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, well, of course you're going to say that, Mac. And I would say that's fair, but it doesn't make it any less true. And I can say that, and I'm confident in saying that based on, the growth and development and the wins that I have seen from my accelerator students. I've literally watched people come into the program, doubting themselves, doubting their capability, wondering if management is for them, to now falling in love with their role and seeing the impact that they're having on their team members' lives. I've watched people come in who are unsteady and not really confident in their communication. I've watched people come in like that to now commanding the room, for example, with a bunch of department heads and having their manager pull them aside afterwards and say, wow, you did a fantastic job. And I'm talking about you, Heba, if you're watching this video. And the reason why this is coming to mind is because I was on a call with her last night and she shared this win. But yeah, that's one thing that I've watched. I've watched people come in and I can feel their sorrow, okay? I can feel their sorrow when they say, Mac, I have made so many mistakes and I feel like I'm climbing out of this huge hole and I don't know where to start. I've watched them come in like that. To now sending me messages from their team, they send me screenshots now from their teams where their teams are like, you are the best manager I've ever had. Also watch people come in who say, Mac, all I do all day long is put out fires, right? That's all I am, the firefighter all day long. I've watched them come in with that kind of scenarios and now they're master delegators and their teams are equipped to handle problems on the ground. But best of all, what I've been able to watch is some incredible managers step up and become inspired and impactful leaders that change lives, because that's what this is all about. I'm going to get emotional here. But yeah, that's what this is all about. And I am so proud. I'm so proud of all of them and the work that they do. Here's what I know for sure, my friend. I know that impactful results don't happen by chance, with a prayer, or by hope. We always have to do something, right? We have to meet halfway in order to get the results that we want. It's not just going to happen for us. We got to put in the work too. And so if you're done with trying to do this on your own and you're ready to take a different approach, a practical approach to leadership, right? One that has a mentor behind you, one that has a group of people that's got your back in what is the arguably one of the hardest transitions in your career, then book a call with me. Book a call with me to learn more about the Accelerator program. I would love to talk to you to see if you would be a fit for the program, because this program is changing lives, right? It's this, what I love, and I'm going to say this last thing and then I'm going to get off my soapbox, but what I love about being able to help y'all as managers is the ripple effect, right? Because if I help you become impactful, then I'm helping at least 5 or 6 other team members have a much better time at work. And that means the world to me, right? So like I said, book a call with me if that is your goal, right? If that's your goal, definitely book that call with me.